Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Hope you're all staying safe and well. I picked this up yesterday, did an unboxing, and today I'm assembling. Now it says it takes 30 minutes to assemble. But first of all, we come up with the Arrows Hobby manual. Very good manual, very well written, and it has English and Chinese in it. Then we come to these two plastic parts. One's a cheat air intake and the other is support for the front of the wing. Then we come to the gear. Now the wheels are pretty small. That front nose wheel can't be more than an inch. Coming down a bit, we've got the two extension wires. They're Y leads. One can clearly be seen marked flaps. The other is for ailerons. What's really nice about these is they have those two little clips at the end that will allow you to lock in servo wires. Then there's a bag with, I believe, 8 screws. And you only need 7 to assemble this. There's no glue in, it's all screw in. That means you've got one spare, and in my book, a 1 spare screw, which is hex driven, countersunk, means this is made by FMS. Quality is superb. Then we have the drop tanks. Whether I use them or not, I don't know. Definitely will be used for display, but they just clip on, so there's nothing really to do with that. And going back up to the top, you have the main fuselage. Now I've done a little bit to this fuselage. What have I done? I've painted the edging of the cockpit in silver so it matches the fuselage. Now that was an idea by Aviator. Thank you, Adam, for that idea. And I've also used a Sharpie to blacken the gun ports. That little black nose thing was already on it. Then we come down to the tailplane and elevators. Already connected, already servoed up. It just screws into place. Wings come in 2 halves, joined by a carbon spar, which is over there. Then the whole lot goes into the fuselage, and you screw it all together. Fin and rudder, well, that goes on top of the tailplane, and it all just screws in with 3 screws. And that's it. Of course, the spar's over there. I say carbon spar, I don't know if it's carbon, it might be fiberglass. Not much to do on it at all. I will be using an AR630 in it. It probably doesn't need it. From what I'm seeing, a lot of the Arrows jets, they don't actually need stabilisers. But I have an AR630, so why not use it? So that's going in there. Let's take a look at the manual and see what we've got to do first. At this stage of the assembly, all you're going to need is a 2mm hex driver. Goes into those screws nicely. Another observation here is that you are screwing into these plastic posts, but the posts have brass threads in them. So let's try this wing out. Here's our wing for the other side. There's the spar. And it goes that far in. Then of course it has a spar running down that side and the bottom. Okay, now these, because they sit on, we can put both on like that. Get your cables out. There are your flaps and ailerons for each wing. I mean, if you wanted to, you could glue this together, you know, but we're not going to. You can see the bracket shape for the EDF unit. Now there are some little slots in the side, and those little slots have wooden supports around them. So maybe they just go straight down those holes. Let me show you that. In fact, the more I think about it, the more it has to be that. So here you could get some cables down, and we're going to try that. Yeah, on the diagram it does show them going down those slits either side, and that's here and here. We're going to try and attach these wings at the same time, thread these through there, which seems crazy. This seems a lot shorter this side than this side. Don't know if it is. Okay, that seems to be okay. Wow. Okay, not the easiest, but at the same time, not the most difficult. Just awkward. Then I'm going to put this brace in, and it will only go in one way because it's got a plastic slit here, which goes into there. A plastic blade, I should say. So that will only go in one way. Let's see if this can screw in. I won't do it all the way. Okay, that's in. That's going down quite a bit. I'm not tightening it up. Bit fiddly to start with. This is the main spar running along there. The centre of gravity for this, the forwardmost centre of gravity is 130mm from this part, the leading edge, and is in fact smack bang in the middle of where the spar goes through the wing. So you don't actually have to measure it because it goes from here where the wing root is, where it joins the fuselage, back to dead centre of this foam piece, and that's the centre of the spar. And the rearward centre of gravity at 140 is right on the edge of the air cheat intake here. So that's where they reside. And I can show you that. I mean, you won't see it, but I can measure it from there. Yeah, 130 is dead centre and 140 is just on the plastic edge. So I'll measure out from there and put a hole, because when you balance this, of course, you do it upside down. Alright, so there's a bit of tape here that we're going to have to remove. Let's just get that off. And what do we have? We have an elevator connector. Now we have another elevator connector. Then we have a single one which will be for the rudder. So let's see how they go together. So here's the thing that you are absolutely going to have to do. When you come to attaching these parts, obviously you don't want wires trapped. I've connected both elevators, servos, to the extensions, made sure they're clipped, and then pulled the excess wiring all into the front so this sits nice and flush. Don't forget to take the rudder out from underneath this plate, because you don't screw anything together until you've done the rudder as well. Now these two sit on top of each other quite nicely out of the way over there. I'm even wondering if they'll go further forward. I don't think they will. So let's connect the rudder. Okay. Now I'm going to pull the rudder extension, if I can find it. The elevator. There's rudder. I'm going to pull that through and do the same. I see no reason why that can't sit down there flush. You've just got to make sure you do not cover the screw hole, and that goes like that. Right, bit fiddly, but it is easily folded away. Let's get these screws in here, because I'll feel a lot happier when I know this is nice and snug. I'll do that mega tight right now. One there. Screws just here. There we are. Well, it's built. Well, let's just finish it off, shall we? We're looking at this piece now. This is for your nose gear. Has two grub screws in the back, one grub screw down low against this plastic piece, and that holds this whole aluminium bit in to the arm of the servo, or the arm that's connected to the servo. Then up here we've got another grub screw that we undo to allow us to drop the nose gear down. Now the nose gear has a flat on it, so there's only one way it can actually go, or it should actually go. You put that in and tighten it up, and that's in. So that means this one, for instance, would go down there, and then you literally just clip it into place. Look at that. That's right. Let's do this next one. That can't be right. Yeah, that's it. There we go. Yeah, that's it. Obviously it needs the battery in to balance. We then have the flap extension, so let's look for the cables marked flap. There's one there. Put that on. That's that side. There's one this side, that's a rudder. So that's flap as well. Okay, so there are your flaps. This wire is definitely shorter than the other one. And the other two coming out of there are your ailerons. So we'll just put those on. Right, so the next job is the COG.
2 hours later.
That was a frantic few hours. I spent a few hours on it, and there it is, all done. I've taken the Indian Chief off this side, and I've put Ace's Black 11, the yellow rose. I think it looks nicer. That's what I'm having on it anyway. As you can see, it's sitting on its nose gear because I've got a battery in there. The batteries I could use on it that I've tested for the centre of gravity at 135mm from the root are Trilogy Nanotech 2.2. These are all 4S, of course, and this is a 50C discharge. The actual recommended battery is the 35C discharge. That does the job perfectly. Then I've got the classic Overlander 2,900 milliampere hour. That's got a 35C discharge. I can also get the Turnigy 3,000 milliampere hour in there, and it'll still balance out right. And that's got quite a good discharge. I think that's, yeah, 50C discharge again. And then inside it, currently, I have a Zippy Compact 2200. I'm not sure what the discharge is of this one. This is a 60C discharge. So let's take a look at the inside of this. The 2200 is right up against this little edge here. So I can get a 2200. I can get a 3000 by pushing it back a bit more. And I can get a 2900. Something that's quite useful to know. There are two holes in here. This is the front hole that is visible, and here they have some Velcro. Well, I've had to extend the Velcro because of the way I'm putting my batteries. So I've cut the hole there, and there is a hole under the Velcro that they've put in. So I've cut the hole there as well. I've got my AR630 across the airframe, sitting there. It's stuck down with double-sided pad, not hot glue. This looks a bit of a mess, but it actually isn't. Two lots of wire leads. It all sits there quite nicely, and with the battery in, locks down, no problem at all. Locks down when the magnet pulls it down, no problem at all. You can see I've marked the centre of gravity here and here, and this happens to be right on that spar. On the underside I've put tape where the screws have gone in, just to keep them in place in case they try and vibrate loose. Yeah. Oh, and I had some nose steps left over from my X-Fly aircraft, so I've just put some nose steps on these. Here. You see it sits on its tail when there's no battery in it. You put your battery in up against the front. Because of the position of the battery, the 2200s will only have one strap holding them in, but with the Velcro there, they're rock solid, they're not going anywhere. There we go. And this strap isn't actually used on the 2200, but you need to strap it to keep it up out of the airflow, because otherwise, I don't know if you can see in there, otherwise you get a strap looping inside there. You can see it tips forward. I've got it slightly nose heavy. There we are. Just fractionally nose heavy at 135mm. I haven't set the movements up yet, and I haven't set the rates up yet, but I do have full flaps. Full flaps are like barn doors on this, so I'm not sure if that's right. There is no information in the manual about flaps. Not a thing. So that's going to have to be a trial and error thing at height to see how it responds. So far I've got no flaps, 50% flaps and 100% flaps, and that is 100% movement and 50% movement. Might be far too much, I'll just have to work it out. It has AS3X and SAFE. That's set up through the forward programming on the AR630. Yeah, I think it's okay. I quite like it. Wouldn't like to hand launch it. It has been suggested that I might take the wheels off and hand launch it, but it's an awkward thing to hold. I'm not sure how I would hand launch it. But there we are, all set up, ready to go. But thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you on another video. Cheers.